Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to my channel, The Real Estate Real. I'm your host Tyler, and today what we're talking about is don't overpay for your next home purchase. I know the home buying process can be extremely intimidating for some home buyers, and there are a ton of costs associated with it, so let's try and get some of the jitters out of the way today and set proper expectations of what you'll be paying through your next home purchase. The first myth that comes to mind when home buyers are talking about their home purchase is that you have to have 20% down for your home purchase. And that isn't true. The minimum down payment on your next home purchase doesn't have to be, but it can be 3%. So that's the minimum that you do have to put down. On an average home in Sacramento, the price is $460,000, and your down payment for $460,000 should be $13,800. What that means is that that's 3% of the $460,000, and your first payment will be an initial deposit, which initial deposit and down payment added together will equal the 3%. So your initial deposit will be $4,600. So if you minus the $4,600 minus the $13,800, then what you'd get is $9,200. And if you combine both of those are considered to be the full down payment towards the $460. What that would do is leave a loan amount of $446,200 of what you would be paying for the next 30 years if you had a 30-year fixed loan on your home. And it's a great tip to make sure that you're paying the lowest interest rate possible when you're buying a home. That's why a lot of people try to find the lender that they think is going to represent them best. It's not just important to have a great realtor at the time, it's also important to have a great lender and other great individuals around you who are going to help support you during this home buying process. So that is a good thing to keep in mind. When your offer is accepted during the home buying process, you now enter a period of which we call escrow, and it is important to remember that during escrow it comes with different fees. So when you're buying a home, there are common inspections during escrow. Home inspections can be one of the more costly items, and those can vary depending on the home inspector or what you choose to get inspected in the home. Standard home inspections usually cost around $460, but you can pay more if you're getting a package that has the pool included and other costs of that nature. So make sure that you're paying the lowest amount for the inspections or any inspection fees. There's more inspections included, like roof inspection. A roof inspection is generally a lot cheaper. It only costs $75, and that depends if you actually want to do the roof inspection, because your home inspector will actually do like a superficial overview. Normally they will do a superficial overview of the home, and that's included in your home inspection. But people do like to get roof inspections done on the home instead of using the home inspector's superficial overview, because the roof inspection and a roof inspector who's going to get on top of the roof and look thoroughly at what's going on, if there's any cracks. What they do is they make sure there's not any leaks in the foundation of the top of the roof, so you're not having water drip into the attic if it rains. And those generally cost about $75. They're usually on the cheaper side, so that's if you want to elect to get that done. Another inspection is the pest inspection. Like many companies come with different types of inspections. A regular inspection for a pest inspection is usually $125, but just like a home inspection, they come with different packages and different things of that nature. So just make sure that you're paying what you want to through those inspections. It's also important to keep in mind that inspections can be waived if your down payment is over 20%, and that's completely up to you if you want to waive those inspections. However, as a realtor, I don't recommend this, because those inspections aren't in place just in case anything happens, to where if you want to back out of the deal as a buyer, you can still back out of the deal and get your down payment back, and you don't lose anything necessarily besides if you already had a cost for a home inspection or any other inspections. These will allow buyers to back out, like I said, depending on the current circumstances. So that's up to you if you want to keep the inspections. It's also important to remember that if you are a licensed contractor, or you do know any licensed contractors yourself, you can perform certain inspections on the home if you would like. But again, we do normally recommend you have somebody else do it, because you're emotionally invested in this project, so that might make a difference in the long run if you're, maybe you might overlook things, or you might not want to get things fixed, which those become negotiable at the moment if you do find out that there are things that need to be repaired in the home. So now that I brought up negotiations, now let's talk about negotiations. Closing costs and property taxes are normally to be negotiated between buyers and sellers. When it's a seller's market like it was in 2020, it's a lot easier for sellers to basically tell the buyer that they'll have to pay for those costs. The costs like closing costs and other costs of that nature. However, as we tilt towards a buyer's market, it's now more than ever. It is easier to convince both parties to split costs for closing costs and property tax. And for buyers, it's great to keep in mind that when it does become a buyer's market, you can put all those costs towards the seller like they were doing to buyers back in 2020. It's great to keep in mind that the current status of your market is to understand what might possibly be paid by the party you represent. And finally, there are certain fees that come with different homes. A lot of new homeowners have to have mandatory fees that they have to pay, like homeowners association fees. I've seen mixed emotions about these fees because what they're really supposed to do is make sure that you keep up with your home, your neighbor is keeping up with their home, so that the overall market value in your neighborhood doesn't drop substantially. Like, they're going to want to make sure, the homeowners association is going to want to make sure your grass is cut, you're not leaving your garbage cans out for, weeks at a time, and that basically the neighborhood just looks, upkept and presentable. So if anybody, comes into the neighborhood, it looks like a great neighborhood to be in. And there's also other fees that you'll have to check into, like Melrose taxes. These can also be associated with new homeowners. Typically, they stay on a home for 20 to 25 years, and what they do is they also pretty much upkeep in the neighborhood, but not just the neighborhood, they also take care of recreation centers in the neighborhood, parks, or just schools that are in the neighborhood that need to be upkept with. So pretty much when you're paying your home's taxes and your Melrose tax, those will go towards certain circumstances where we'll be paying for something that's going on with the school possibly, or a community center in your neighborhood. So those are all the costs that I had in mind when I brought up this topic, and I really hope that it brought you value today. There are a lot of different costs that come to mind when you're paying for a home. So just make sure you don't want to pay a homeowners association fee, that you elect to buy a home that does not have a HOA fee, as well as those Melrose taxes or anything like that. Make sure that the home that you're currently purchasing doesn't have those Melrose taxes, and your current realtor or whoever you're working with at the moment should be able to look into these. So if you don't want to pay those, make sure your realtor is looking into those situations and you don't elect to buy that house, because they do come associated, like I said, depending on the house you want. So that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you tuning in. I hope it added value to your day and pretty much the home buying process. I also hope it was informative. Of course, like and subscribe, share with a friend, and we'll be back for more next time. I appreciate it. Thank you.